This year, developments in the aviation world have taken the rivalry between Airbus and Boeing to an entirely new level. Behind what may seem like simple order lists lie billion-dollar strategies, game-changing moves, and steps that will shape the future of the skies. In this video, you'll discover what's really happening behind the scenes with these two giants, why airlines are changing direction, and who is truly ahead in 2025. And the answer is far more surprising than you might think. As 2025 began, Airbus wasted no time seizing the opportunities at hand. The Paris Air Show was the most important stage for this strategy. Here, Airbus not only secured new orders, but also sent a clear message to the industry: I'm here in the race for leadership. The A321XLR and A350 showcased at the event were a clear preview of the orders to come later in the year. The A321XLR emerged as a true game-changer in the medium-range market. Some airlines that had previously hesitated and ordered from Boeing turned to Airbus thanks to the range and fuel efficiency this model offered. The A350, on the other hand, stood out in the long-range market with its balance of fuel consumption, maintenance costs, and passenger comfort. This combination gave Airbus simultaneous advantages in both the narrow-body and wide-body segments. Data released in the first half of the year made the impact of this strategy clear. In just a few months, Airbus secured 203 new aircraft orders. This figure showed that Airbus was making gains not only in strong markets, but also in regions where Boeing had long been dominant. However, this success story was not one-sided. As Airbus shined on stage, Boeing was working behind the scenes, preparing its own moves and waiting for the right moment to take steps that could change the course of the game in the second half of 2025. As 2025 began, Boeing had not fully escaped the shadow of its past. The trust issues caused by the 737 MAX crisis were still influencing the decisions of some airlines. If you'd like to watch the video where we previously explored the background of this issue in detail, you can click the link that appears in the top right corner of the screen. However, Boeing was following a quiet but determined strategy to change this perception. The primary goal was to restore stability to its production line and shorten delivery times. Accelerating the certification process for the 737 MAX family, particularly the MAX 8 and MAX 10, was a critical step in remaining competitive with Airbus's A321XLR in the medium-range market. In the long-range segment, increasing 787 Dreamliner deliveries was central to Boeing's efforts to limit the A350's market share. Boeing also worked to strengthen its strong position in the U.S. domestic market by deepening relationships with major airlines like American, United, and Southwest. These discussions highlighted advantages such as maintenance agreements, fuel efficiency upgrades, and fleet optimization packages. Still, significant challenges remained: supply chain disruptions, delays in engine production, and Airbus's rapid rise in markets like Asia and the Middle East. Now, it's time to take a closer look at the order table that clearly reveals the results of this rivalry in the first half of the year. Looking at the first half of 2025, the order race between Airbus and Boeing paints a clear picture. According to data released right after the Paris Air Show, Airbus secured a total of 203 new aircraft orders in the first 6 months of the year. The majority of these came from the narrow-body segment, particularly the A321neo and A321XLR models. In addition, the long-range A350 family saw strong demand from airlines based in the Middle East and Asia. Boeing, on the other hand, collected 116 orders in the same period. In the narrow-body category, the 737 MAX family led the way, while in the wide-body segment, the 787 Dreamliner remained its biggest asset. However, the ongoing certification process for the 737 MAX 10 and certain supply chain delays were among the factors that limited Boeing's order momentum. At first glance, the numbers suggest a clear advantage for Airbus, but the situation is not as simple as it appears. Some of the orders came from the formalization of older agreements, while others could be cancelled depending on financial conditions. Furthermore, which airlines are shifting toward which manufacturer may be more critical to the future of this rivalry than the raw order counts themselves. And that's where a slowly emerging trend in recent years becomes evident. Boeing customers have started turning to Airbus, while some Airbus customers are moving toward Boeing. Now, let's take a closer look at the reasons behind this shift. In aviation, the concept of loyalty is often defined by long-standing ordering habits and manufacturer-customer relationships. An airline typically standardizes its fleet with aircraft from a single manufacturer, which offers significant advantages in maintenance and operational efficiency. But in 2025, a development is making the Airbus-Boeing rivalry far more interesting. Some airlines are moving away from the manufacturer they've relied on for years and turning to the competition. The US market has been one of the most notable stages for this shift. Giants like American Airlines and United Airlines, whose fleets have traditionally been Boeing-heavy, have placed orders with Airbus in recent years. The A321XLR in particular has opened new opportunities on medium-range routes such as busy US domestic flights and transatlantic services. Certification delays for Boeing's MAX 10 played a role in these choices, allowing airlines to gain operational flexibility while renewing their fleets without delay. A similar trend is visible in the Middle East. Wide-body-focused carriers like Emirates and Qatar Airways had long favored Boeing's 777 and 787 models. But Airbus's A350 has emerged prominently in 2025 order lists. With its fuel efficiency and long-range comfort, the A350 has secured a strong position in these markets. Qatar Airways' particular shift toward the A350-1000 shows Airbus gaining a serious advantage in this segment over Boeing. Of course, the shift isn't one-sided. There are also examples of airlines moving from Airbus to Boeing. In Asia especially, some carriers have ordered the Boeing 787 Dreamliner for its long-range flexibility and compatibility with existing maintenance infrastructure. Air India's orders for the 787 and 777X are prime examples. Some carriers that had incorporated the Airbus A350 into their fleets returned to Boeing thanks to attractive financing and delivery schedules. Several key factors drive these shifts. Delivery timelines. With supply chain issues, whichever manufacturer can deliver sooner often gets the order. Operational compatibility. A new aircraft type is more attractive if it aligns with existing maintenance infrastructure and pilot training programs. Fuel efficiency and costs. On long-haul routes especially, per-liter fuel cost differences can sway large contracts. Financial packages. Payment plans and leasing options offered by manufacturers play a decisive role. The 2025 first-half order table clearly reflects these changes. Airbus's new customers have come from markets long dominated by Boeing, while Boeing has won clients from regions where Airbus is strong. This back and forth has turned the order battle from a simple numbers game into a multi-dimensional strategy contest. Whether these shifts will be sustainable depends largely on delivery performance. Because for airlines, placing the order is only half the story. Taking delivery on time is just as critical. And that's where a major challenge for both Airbus and Boeing comes into play: the production and delivery crisis. In the aviation industry, the gap between the sale of an aircraft and its delivery can sometimes span years. Under normal circumstances, this period is kept under control through production planning and supply chain management. But by 2025, both Airbus and Boeing had largely lost control of the process. With order backlogs at record levels, bottlenecks on production lines and delays in sourcing critical parts have slowed delivery significantly. For Airbus, the biggest challenge lies in securing engines for the A320neo family. Engine makers such as CFM International and Pratt & Whitney are facing raw material shortages, labor constraints, and logistical issues in the post-pandemic recovery period. In particular, quality issues found in Pratt & Whitney's geared turbofan engines have extended maintenance times and delayed new engine deliveries. This has pushed Airbus's A321neo and A321XLR deliveries behind schedule. On Boeing's side, the 737 MAX family and 787 Dreamliner production face different types of hurdles. The MAX 10 cannot be delivered until its certification process is complete, lengthening wait times for customers. In 787 production, quality control inspections uncovered fuselage joint issues, slowing the assembly line. Boeing is also directly affected by the financial troubles of major suppliers like Spirit AeroSystems. In the widebody segment, Rolls-Royce's production capacity limitations for Trent XWB engines are slowing A350 deliveries, while GE's GEnx engines are limiting Boeing's 787 output. Increasing production capacity, securing raw material supply, and easing the workload at maintenance centers could take several years. The biggest impact of this delivery crisis is on airlines' fleet planning. Carriers are postponing planned new routes, keeping older aircraft in service longer, or resorting to leased aircraft as a temporary fix. This delays the transition to more fuel-efficient models and drives up operating costs. For Airbus and Boeing, the problem is not just technical, it's also about reputation. Delivery delays put them at a disadvantage in new order negotiations. Whichever manufacturer can offer a more reliable delivery schedule often wins the business. This has shifted the order battle from who sells more to who delivers faster. Critically, these delivery issues are felt more sharply in the widebody segment than in narrowbodies, because these aircraft are far more strategic investments due to their costs and operational requirements. And that's why it's worth taking a closer look at the widebody war between the Airbus A350 and Boeing 787 Dreamliner. The widebody segment in aviation represents not only prestige, but also a highly strategic battleground. These aircraft form the backbone of intercontinental routes and directly determine an airline's long-haul capacity. By 2025, two models stand out most in this segment: the Airbus A350 and the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Both are modern, fuel-efficient, and built with composite fuselages, yet they follow different design philosophies, performance priorities, and market strategies. The Airbus A350 stands out in long-haul operations for its superior fuel efficiency, quiet cabin design, and spacious interior. The A350-900 and A350-1000 versions can comfortably operate on routes exceeding 9,300 miles. The A350's cabin pressure and humidity levels also provide a better passenger experience compared to its rivals. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner, meanwhile, has been known for its operational flexibility since entering service. Its three variants, the 787-8, 787-9, and 787-10, offer airlines a range of capacity and range options, giving them great flexibility in route planning. GEnx engines deliver efficiency particularly on medium to long-haul flights, while the Dreamliner's composite fuselage significantly reduces corrosion risk. Additionally, its lower empty weight can make it more economical than the A350 on certain routes. Airline preferences largely depend on operational needs. Carriers like Qatar Airways, Singapore Airlines, and British Airlines maximize the A350's long-range performance, while United Airlines, ANA, and Air Canada leverage the Dreamliner's fleet flexibility to operate both long and medium-haul routes with the same aircraft family. Market strategies also shape the rivalry. Airbus positions the A350 particularly in the Middle East and Asian markets to meet large long-haul capacity demands, while Boeing focuses the 787 more on North America and Asia-Pacific markets, targeting high-frequency but lower-capacity routes. Looking at 2025 order data, the A350 has gained strong momentum in the Middle East. Recent major orders from Riyadh Air and Qatar Airways have strengthened Airbus's position in this segment. Boeing, on the other hand, is working to maintain market share by securing repeat orders for the 787 from existing customers. This wide-body race is, in many ways, the opposite of the narrow-body competition, where market leadership can shift much more quickly depending on delivery speed and certification timelines. That's why it's worth taking a closer look at the fierce battle between the Airbus A321XLR and the Boeing 737 MAX 10. In the narrow-body market, one of the most notable rivalries of 2025 is between these two aircraft. The A321XLR, with a range of about 5,400 miles, makes intercontinental flights possible with a single-aisle aircraft. This gives airlines the opportunity to open new markets at a lower cost compared to wide-bodies, offering a major advantage on routes such as transatlantic and Middle East-Europe services. The Boeing 737 MAX 10, with a capacity of 230 passengers, is the largest member of the MAX family. Its range of about 3,900 miles isn't as long as the XLRs, but it lowers the cost per seat on high-density domestic and short to medium-haul international routes. However, delays in the certification process have made it difficult for Boeing to gain momentum with this model. In terms of airline preferences, XLR orders have been rising quickly in Europe and North America, while the MAX 10 is favored in the US domestic market by carriers like Southwest and United on high-demand routes. Because the narrow-body segment accounts for the majority of total orders, this rivalry is critical. Every customer won here can also influence future wide-body orders. However, the outcome of this battle depends not only on current performance, but also on the new projects manufacturers will develop in the coming years. The rivalry between Airbus and Boeing is shaped not only by today's orders and deliveries, but also by the aircraft of the future. Airbus is working on an entirely new clean sheet design to replace the A320 family. This aircraft is expected to be 100% compatible with sustainable aviation fuel and use open-fan engine technology, aiming for up to 20% fuel savings. Foldable wings will allow it to fit within existing airport infrastructure despite a larger wingspan. We've explored this topic in detail in another video. You can click the link in the top right corner to watch it. On Boeing's side, a potential NMA, new mid-size airplane project is on the table. Positioned between narrow and wide-body categories, this model is designed to compete with the A321XLR, particularly in the medium to long-range market segment. However, Boeing's priority is to first resolve its current production and certification challenges. Both manufacturers are preparing for the future in engine and propulsion systems. The open fan concept shows promise for improving fuel efficiency and reducing noise, while hybrid electric solutions are still in the early stages. Sustainability lies at the core of both companies' strategies, and scaling up SAF production will be critical to achieving these goals. All these projects will play a decisive role in determining which manufacturer leads the market over the next decade. Now, let's take a look at the true winner of 2025. In the first half of the year, Airbus secured a clear advantage in the order race. Its strong performance at the Paris Air Show, combined with high demand for the A321XLR and A350, resulted in a total of 203 orders. Boeing came in second with 116 orders, while it delivered steadily with the MAX 8 and 787. Certification delays for the MAX 10 and production issues limited its performance. In the short term, Airbus holds the lead. It has a more stable product lineup and delivery pace in both the narrow-body and wide-body segments. However, the long-term picture could change. If Boeing brings the NMA project to market and successfully rolls out new models like the 777X, it could regain market share. In conclusion, the winner of the 2025 order battle is Airbus. But in aviation, competition never ends. In the coming years, new technologies could once again shift the balance of power. So, who do you think will be the long-term winner? Airbus or Boeing? If you'd like to see more content like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. See you at 40,000 feet.